Hello all, welcome to Ulysses Notes. I am Aneena Subramanian, second year BA English Literature student of KE College, Mananam. In this session, we are going to look into the poem Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson.
Let's begin with a brief introduction to the poet. Alfred Lord Tennyson was born in the year 1809 in England, and he was a renowned English poet of the Victorian age. He had lived through the changes and trends of the Victorian age, so his poems often reflected them. For that matter, Tennyson is also called the most representative writer of Victorian age. He was appointed as poet laureate after William Wordsworth and was also considered the national poet. Crossing the Bar, Idylls of the King, In Memoriam of A.H.H., Ulysses are some of his notable works. Before the explanation of poem, let's see some general information to be noted. The Ulysses, which was written in 1833, is one of the most quoted poems of English literature. Titular character of the poem Ulysses is the Latinized name of Greek hero Odysseus, who is a major character appearing in Homer's epic poem The Iliad and the Odyssey. This poem is a popular example for dramatic monologue, which means the speaker is addressing a silent listener or an audience. Tennyson wrote Ulysses in blank verse. Blank verse is unrhyming verse written in iambic pentameter. A brief context to our character, Ulysses. As I said before, Ulysses is the Latinized name of Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, who is a major character in Homer's epic poem, the Odyssey. In the Iliad, a prequel to Odyssey, Ulysses fights along with Greek against the city of Troy in the Trojan War. The Trojan War, which lasted for 10 years, ends with the victory of Greek, but our hero Ulysses is left with a desire to get back home. The Odyssey is about the struggles, adventures, and misadventures that Ulysses goes through as he returned back to his family and kingdom Ithaca after Trojan War. In Homer's Odyssey, Ulysses spent 10 years in the sea, yearning for home, whereas in Tennyson Ulysses, he is having difficulties with domestic life in Ithaca after being home. We have two dynamics of Ulysses in Homer's and Tennyson's work here. Ulysses had spent prime time of his life engaging in war, travels, and exploration. Hence, in the poem, the ideal life as king of Ithaca was not pleasurable for Ulysses. Let's look at the poem in four stanzas for easy explanation. In the first stanza, Ulysses is reflecting on his life in Ithaca and telling how he is in a predicament now. As a warrior, adventurer, and explorer, he finds the ideal life of a king not profitable to him. His sense of adventure is contradicting with the life that he is living now, which is a domestic life. It rather bores him. The line, "By this still hearth among these barren crags," it indicates the monotonous life of Ulysses in Ithaca. The only companion he has is his old age wife Penelope, and she is no match to the adventurous senses of Ulysses. Penelope is another Greek character whom now we know as the wife of Ulysses, and she is also the mother of Telemachus. Ulysses finds the duty of a king boring, and he is very much uninterested in governing. Metendol means distributing law, which is a duty of king. His attitude towards the duty of a king clearly states how less enthusiastic he is to fill in the role. He calls the people of Ithaca as the savages because to him they only live to make money, to sleep, and to eat. Unlike Ulysses, they have no interest in traveling, exploration, etc. Lastly, he is complaining that these people don't know him. He is disappointed in these people not knowing him and appreciating him as adventurer, traveler, and explorer. Towards the second stanza, Ulysses is explaining his early life, adventures, and status. "I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees." He begins with a declaration. And he knows that he has aged, but his enthusiasm for travel hasn't aged. Ulysses wants to enjoy his life to the maximum, similar to drinking wine to the last drop. Ulysses enjoyed his life voyaging and traveling, sometimes alone, sometimes with his companions. Yes, they had faced many adversities and difficulties along the way, but those times were more pleasurable than the stationary life of a king now. He is also remembering the time when he had to face heavy rainstorms during his time in the sea. The rainy Hades means a group of stars which is expected to bring rain when it rises and sets. All of Ulysses' experience has helped him to gain a name, a popularity of one who, as a warrior, adventurer, explorer, and traveler. And because of this status, he says that every man, cities, governments he had visited had never trivialized him but always honored him. But the people of Ithaca, they only consider him as the king who rules them and the land, and that fact always disappoints Ulysses. Far on the ringing plains of windy Troy. It is a reference to the Trojan War waged against the city of Troy by the Greeks. The war was declared as Paris, the prince of Troy, abducted Queen Helen of Sparta, the wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta. Ulysses is remembering his time as warrior, and when he says a drunk delight of battle, he is being delightful in the post of a warrior, which he may be missing as opposed to the boring life now. So we can say that Ulysses' recollection of journeys, acquaintances, Trojan War, all is making him more aware of how tedious his life is now. I am a part of all that I have met. It denotes how proud Ulysses is to have to experience life beyond the limitations. And he is glad that those experiences had helped him to mold into a person that he is now. There are many parts of the world that he is yet to explore and experience. So for Ulysses, the possibility of travel is forever, but he is being tied down to the role of a king. And he compares his boring life of now in Ithaca to an unpolished, dull metal article, probably a sword.
When Ulysses says, as though to breathe were life, he means to live just for breathing. It is a sarcastic comment being made on those people who are spending their life being idle and not exploring the possibilities. He also says that no matter how many number of life is granted, it will always be insufficient to those people who loves traveling. And that is why he says his life is not enough for him to travel or to explore. In the poem, the eternal silence denotes death. Ulysses is nearing to his death, he is in his old age, and he is very much aware of the little time that is left for him. But still, his heart yearns for the ferocious experience of life. He wants to explore beyond what humans have understood. And he is a grey spirit or an old man who is craving to know things beyond what humans have figured out, like a singing star or a shooting star, which always seem to go beyond the unknown boundaries of the horizon. Ulysses is being tied down to a stationary life, which leaves him feeling unwell and uneasy. He wants an escape from this.
Towards the third stanza, Ulysses wants to leave the kingdom, and he believes that his son Telemachus would be the best choice to replace him as king. Telemachus is another great hero, also the son of Ulysses and Penelope. Soon after Telemachus was born, Ulysses was called to fight in Trojan War. And in the epic poem Odyssey, we can see Telemachus going in search of his wandering father. I leave the spectre and the isle, says Ulysses. Here, Ulysses means that he is ready to leave the kingdom, only if it is in the hands of Telemachus, his son, whom he is extremely proud of. Ulysses goes on to appreciate his son, who has high discretion and authoritative power. His son to him is flawless and never fails to attend to his duties. Also, Telemachus is a man who respects the tradition. Towards the end of the stanza, Ulysses is determined to live, and he believes that Telemachus will do a better job as a king, and he can do better justice to himself as a traveler or explorer. The last stanza shows us much different image of Ulysses. He is now addressing the mariners who are his companions in sail. Along with them, Ulysses is going to embark on a voyage as he wished for. Ulysses introduces his mariners as the souls that had toiled, wrought, and thought with him. He is close with them and enjoys their companionship. They are all tension free as well as ready to begin the voyage. Here, we have more of an optimistic Ulysses than the disappointed Ulysses in the beginning. He is sharing words of optimism to the mariners, and he says that yes, they have aged and the old age comes with limitation, but that shouldn't be a barrier to them. He calls them man strove with gods, which is a reference to the Trojan War. Because in Trojan War, God also fought along and against mortals. Ulysses is trying to tell them that there are, they are not ordinary mortals. Hence, the odd outcomes, which may or may not happen during the journey, shouldn't scare them away. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks, the long day wanes, the slow moon climbs. These lines indicate the ending of a day. Also, it could symbolize us how it is the end of an unpleasant life for Ulysses and the beginning of a worthy, adventurous one. He implores his mariners to seek new world, explores the unknown horizon, and he doesn't give false assurance to his mariners. He is also making sure that his companions knows the adversities they could face along the voyage. The Gulf could wash them down and death is a possibility. But he is not scared of dying, thinking that he is his to him the happy isles is open. He is also glad that in Happy Isles he could meet with his friend Achilles. Happy Isles is a mythical reference. It is an alternate to heaven where Greek heroes are believed to go after death. Achilles is great Greek warrior and Greek character with whom Odysseus fought in the Trojan War. The poem is closing to the end with Ulysses being optimistic against the old age. Age could have made him weak, lost his ferociousness, but their heart is heroic, and it is enough to stand against the time and fate with a strong will. He is ending the monologue with the most quoted line of the poem: to strive, to seek, to find, not to yield. He is emphasizing on not giving up, always be trying. Whatever be the barrier, be it age or anything, always strive, and never yield. Now let's summarize the poem. We are dealing with Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. And in the poem, Ulysses is a speaker who is a Greek hero and the king of Ithaca. In the first stanza, we can see that he is in his old age and he is affected by the ideal life of a king in Ithaca. He don't find any motivation in that monotonous life. He also he also think that the people of Ithaca is not appreciating him and feels that his life is being wasted like that. He chooses Telemachus, his son, as the able king to rule Ithaca in his stead. In the fourth stanza, Ulysses is ready to go for a voyage. He is going on a journey with his mariners. He is brimming with optimism and he is not giving up on his passion. The poem deals with themes such as aging, passion, optimism, and search for knowledge. Ulysses is a dramatic monologue which is written in blank verse.
That will be the end of our presentation. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.